Oh dear. All right. Somebody needs to, I'm going to type a message. All right. I've sent a message and I can see the message. Um, Now we just have to hope that this is actually working. Okay. So here's what's happened. Um, in the process of getting this sorted out, I on the other platform, I clicked something and I couldn't figure out how to operate whatever that is. So I know that Billy will be taking a look and saying to himself, "Oh goodness, what on earth has she done now?" And the answer is, I have no idea. So, ironically, the thing I want to talk about today, is carts and horses. And by carts and horses, I mean that we quite often see an outcome and focus on it and forget, get sidetracked by our eagerness to be there now. Um, and we forget that there are steps, there are procedures that have to be followed. And even while we can't post messages to some channels, learn more. Well, see, if I can't post to you, hopefully you can reply to me. And if I can't see what you're doing, I'll see it eventually, because I will go to Facebook and I will go to YouTube and try and figure out what went wrong. So, whoops, Aaron, thank you. Good morning. Wonderful. Okay. This is great. Thank you, hun. And you're on Facebook. All right. So this is working. All right. It's like I'm in the dark and I forgot my flashlight, honestly. So, the subject today is carts and horses, as I said. And I want to walk us through what I do and what has been happening that has caused me to find myself there again. Um, so, the last 8.5, almost 9 months now, has been an overwhelming tidal wave, a tsunami of events in rapid sequence that kind of, well, not kind of, snuck up on me very quickly. And there were so many things going on that the best I could do was keep moving forward, going, not running, not racing, not downhill, not afraid to trip and I would fall, but no time for reflection, no time for analysis, no time for farther than the end of my reach strategy to make it better. And that went on for far too long. I was completely in a new place with no context, no understanding of, in the larger picture, what people meant by the things they said, because I had no familiarity with it. I had no frame of reference. And I know the reason I want to talk about this is that it's not just about me. I know we have all been there. I know the whole period of time with the pandemic. I know the whole interval that we fall into when a cataclysmic event overtakes us, that we, even if we saw it coming, we're still never prepared for the size of something that's huge, like a tornado or an ice storm or losing someone or losing a job or any of these massive life-changing events. We can think we're ready, we can have all of our ducks in a row, and still the size of it and the way it overtakes everything that is our normal is completely ground shaking. It really is. And until we have been in it, we can only try to remember or try to guess or try to be sympathetic for people who are going through it, and we never come close until it's very fresh for us. So I did the best I could, but I was often saying to people, I feel like I'm kind of at about 70% capacity here. And I'm fairly quick and I'm fairly bright, but 70% still feels like I'm missing a lot. And I kept apologizing to people in advance because I didn't know if I was letting people down. I didn't know if I was forgetting things. And blessedly, I didn't have time to angst about that because I had to do the next thing. And I saw this article yesterday, which was really helpful because yesterday was an issue for me. And it was somebody saying, if you watch an ant trudging along doing its thing, and you put your finger in front of the ant just changes direction. And if you keep putting a blockage in front of the ant just keeps changing direction because its entire purpose is getting where it wants to go. And so this article said an ant is a very primitive creature. It, however, does not let things get in its way. It keeps looking for a plan B until it finds one. And I thought, we overthink. We overthink. There are times when we just need to take a step back and head for a plan B. So I had to do that yesterday. I had to catch myself getting worked up, getting wound up about a thing that was not unfolding as I had wanted it to. And part of my upset was the fact that I had assumed it was going to work. And based on my assumption that this is a fait accompli, I had then put other things in motion. I had not pulled the plug. I had not, pulled the trigger, but I had said, okay, so if this and this is a given, then this and this and this. And I had events organized and steps I would have to follow and people I would have to reach out to, all lined up. And then the first thing didn't happen. So I took a step back and I did what I could. And the first thing still didn't happen. In fact, there were more roadblocks put in my way. And I thought, all right, I'll take care of these roadblocks. And then I will think about the next thing I can do. And so I took care of the roadblocks. And then still nothing happened. And so I got upset. And I got upset. And when I got upset, we don't think clearly. And I didn't get upset like I wasn't screaming and railing and crying and sobbing and stomping my feet or anything, but I felt helpless. And I thought that's not me. That's not where I need to be, and that's not where I like to be, and I don't like the emotion. So I shifted gears and I looked after other things. I put my concern and my anxiety in my later folder. And I thought, I'll come back to this in a bit, but I need to take care of these other things. And rather than sitting and staring at this, obsessing at the pot of water that won't boil, I need to go away and do something else. So I did that. And when I came back to it, I thought, oh, wait a minute, here's an idea. And I did a couple of things and I saw some possibilities. However, I still didn't have a solution. And now it was getting late in the day. And I realized that I had spent my entire day, except for the few errands, the few steps, chores that I had to do. I realized that I had invested my entire day in my frustration, which is pretty silly. I hadn't come up with an alternative. I'd come up with a couple of ideas, but it wasn't the time to try to implement them. So I did the next best thing. I sat down and I wrote to myself a list of the things I wanted and why I wanted them and why I wanted them now. Now that was a really interesting thing to do, because while I wrote with a fair amount of dudgeon, why I wanted these things now, I realized that I had put a cart before my team of horses. That the reason I wanted it now wasn't a life or death situation. The reason I wanted it now was arbitrary. I had decided I wanted it now. I had decided that it was going to be urgent. I had chosen it to be urgent. It wasn't urgent. I had said it was. Well, if we take that away, if we take away my pronouncement, this is urgent, and therefore all these other things must fall into place. If we take away my demand, none of the rest of it matters. It certainly doesn't matter to anybody else. It doesn't matter to all the other people whose lives are complicated and whose issues are valid and whose energies and efforts are focused on the things they need to do. There weren't thousands of people sitting up and saying, oh my God, this is terrible. We all have to get together and do something about this. This was a small moment of impulse on my part. And I had told myself that because it mattered, which wasn't true, the story wasn't true, I had then made every next decision incorrectly. And I hadn't looked at whether the story was true at all. I hadn't taken a step back. Why? Well, because I wanted it to be true. If the story was true, then every next thing had to happen. If every next thing wasn't happening, my goodness, could it be that the story wasn't true? And when I did my homework, I thought, you know what? It wasn't. I got it wrong. In my excitement, in my eagerness to keep the adventure unfolding, I had invented a crisis. Now, it's not entirely an invention. There is something pressing. There is something that will need to be corrected. But it didn't have to be corrected yesterday or today or tomorrow. It's something in the near future that needs to be addressed. And as soon as I saw that, and I didn't see that until, my gosh, I guess it was about 8 o'clock last night, I had invested my whole day, everything in my whole day, I had turned upside down. And how crazy is that? How crazy is that? What was I thinking? I was thinking I wanted something to happen before it was ready to happen. I had tried to nudge before it was supposed to be. Silly me. So I wanted to talk about this today because I think we all do this. And sometimes I think we do this when we are ready for change. When, you know, this equation that I have about dissatisfaction being the trigger for curiosity. I have been ready for this change to happen for quite some time. And in doing my research, I saw so many ingredients for this recipe to happen that I got ahead of myself. And I said, well, I can do it this week. I can do the whole thing this week. I can take care of it. And in my decision to do that, and in my decision to make all these dots connect, and I saw how they can connect, in my excitement and my enthusiasm and my impatience, Vikings, in my impatience to make it happen now in this moment, I had forgotten that it takes many people in the boat to be willing to row. It takes many people seated, facing in the right direction, ready to pick up their oar, ready to listen to the instruction, ready to lean in and say, I'm in. I had set that all aside. I had said, oh, of course they will. I had forgotten. I had forgotten the question asked of me long, long ago by a Viking friend of mine, Lars Ellinglund, God bless you, who once said to me, "You are aware that Vikings had to qualify to get in the boat, right?" And I had said, "Of course," but I had jumped the gun. And I do it all the time. I have done it. I have done it all through my life. I have said, it's a great boat. It's a great adventure. Everybody's going to love it. So, all right, everybody, into the boat. Let's go. And the everybody who got in, I didn't ask them to qualify. I didn't give it time. I didn't test the tides. I didn't check the wind to see if this was the right time. I was just so excited. I was ready. And it wasn't the right time. And every time I do that, I get stopped in my tracks by something. So, my dear friend, Georgia Morris, reminded me last week. She said, in every lesson there is a gift. This was a saying that her grandmother had shared with her. In every lesson there is a gift. And I was looking and frustrated and annoyed yesterday, and I kept saying, where's the gift? Where's the gift? Again, I was so impatient to see why this was happening. I wasn't giving it time to emerge for me because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to receive it. But I'm ready today. And you know what the gift is in all of these short delays? The universe is saving me from something that was looming. That is what has always happened to me. When I have leapt ahead too soon, too fast, intent on making it work, something has always happened because it wasn't time. All the pieces weren't in place. It wasn't ready. And that's my lesson. That's my gift. There's something about this that isn't ready. And do I know what it is yet? No. Will it reveal itself eventually? Absolutely, it always does. So, the recording today, the video today, Abby Life, is, oh dear, what has she done now? What was she trying to do now? And what is she learning? What is she correcting? My insights and my revelations and my, oh, look at that, moments are meant to teach me and guide you. They're meant to show you what it looks like and feels like when I do this thing I've always done, that I know better than to do. So, does it mean that we should be timid? Does it mean that we should wait and wait and wait until the timing is right? No, there are times when we can nudge the things we need to nudge. There are also times that when we nudge, we have to have the wisdom and the ability and the patience to wait until the nudging takes effect. So I did all the nudging I could do yesterday, and I kept saying, is it soup yet? Is it boiling yet? And no, of course it wasn't. And as I said to a friend of mine this morning, there may be a delay. And if there is, that's okay. There's lots of other stuff I have to do. So what is the outcome today? The outcome today is I feel so much better. The outcome today is that this is okay. That delays are not failure. Delays are a reset. Delays are the 5 steps back we take to see the bigger picture and say, oh yeah, look at that. We go this way. to get to there. So I hope that has worked. I hope that has made sense to you. I hope that when I go over to my different platforms, I will see all your posts and I will see all the people who have watched. And I hope you will comment and tell me you're not alone. You're not alone, Abby. I've done it and I do it too. So I'll be back. Between now and Thursday, I will get Billy to show me what I did wrong on the other platform. Sorry, Billy. And he will help me fix it. And in the meantime, you know the drill. Be good to you. You deserve it. Give yourself permission to take the slow breath. Give yourself permission to write in the later folder and tell yourself it's okay. I'll be back and I'll fix it. Give yourself permission to let the universe do what it does for us and for all of us. And don't forget to hug your loved ones. They deserve it too. Thank you for watching. I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye for now. Okay, now, how do we turn this off? I don't know. Chat, QR codes. Excellent shared wisdom. Oh, Sylvia, thank you. Thank you. What a great thing to see and hear. All right. Does anybody have any idea how I shut this off? Oh, end stream. Read the instructions. See you soon.